Service Leadership, Virginia Chambers, Lauren Grant, Tanya Luttrell, Katie Miller, May Stevenson, Allison Wolde. While the classic definition of servant leadership is from the writings of Robert Greenleaf, after reflection, we prefer to remove the servant from the term and focus on service and social justice. Service leadership is a conscious choice to help and work for someone else. To quote Brené Brown, a leader is anyone who takes responsibility for finding the potential in people and processes and who has the courage to develop that potential. Leadership is not about the title we hold, but rather our willingness to lift up those around us and create a place for them to thrive. Lead Academy has empowered me to lead from where I am. I bring my personal values of accountability, honesty, and compassion to work every day. I strive to support my team and deliver excellent customer service to our students. A management position is not required to follow the path of service leadership. Great leadership can inspire leadership in others. In a year of extreme change, I have felt especially fortunate to have a manager who exemplifies service leadership. Being supported in this way has allowed me to flourish as a human, an employee, and as a leader.
Finding your why is a critical component of successful leadership. When our personal and professional mission, vision, and values are aligned, it helps to create a sense of purpose and enjoyment. Maybe that's why I love my job so much. My engagement with students, faculty, staff, and the community is my way of doing good work, social justice work, creating safe spaces for students and my team to be authentic and genuine, cultivating low-stakes islands for exploring conversations, ideas, and finding creative solutions for success. Service leadership does not exist without people to serve. As an instructor in healthcare, I always say we are teaching humans how to take care of other humans, which can be messy and challenging. But we are here to help students navigate the mess and provide tools to meet the challenge. Building trust, resilience, and empowering my team to do good work with a fully charged battery is being a service leader.
Today, organizational agility is not optional. COVID-19 has transformed our world and the way it operates. Change is being demanded on social and systemic levels. In times of disruption, employees need not only service-oriented leaders, but cheerleaders, those with a reassuring presence who say, we will survive and thrive in the future together. Those with a transformational approach who focus on meeting the needs of employees first. I'm hopeful that PCC will survive and thrive through change by keeping transformational, service-oriented leadership and the needs of our employees at our core. To survive, as an organization that's going through a major reorg during a global pandemic, we must carefully consider the needs of our people and better align our people practices so that they may best address those highest priority needs of our employees. These people practices should be designed to best serve the people who possess the talents needed by PCC to operate. To thrive, we must cultivate an agile, productive, long-term sustainable college through meeting the highest priority needs of our staff and through the development of employee belonging and well-being. I hope we embrace these as key factors in running an effective college that best serves its staff so that they may best serve our students and community and achieve equitable student success.
Supervisors may not always understand the impact that their words, actions, or inactions can have on the people in their leadership care. According to Nicole Guilfoy of Total Worker Health Oregon, your supervisor will have more impact on your health and well-being than your primary care doctor. My hope is that the collective we at PCC will have the courage that it takes to lead with humility and trust in those around us. My hope is that we will have the courage to do the hard work of continually examining and questioning in order to advocate for the best and most inclusive outcomes. My hope is that we and all PCC leaders at all levels will embrace a true service leadership approach as we move through our current uncertain times of change and look to a better future for students and employees.
Chinese has an old saying, 喜怒不形于色, meaning do not show your joy and anger so others would not be able to read into your mind. The phrase also has an implication that only people who are not cultured would easily show their emotions. In reserved cultures, showing emotions was perceived as unprofessional and shallow. Until in the 90s, Daniel Goleman, who is a science journalist, had brought up the concept of emotional intelligence. He defined emotional intelligence as the ability to identify and regulate one's emotions and understand the emotions of others. Ultimately, people who are able to utilize emotional intelligence skills in a team environment have a potential to increase team productivity and better relationship building.
Just as the best practices of leadership are continuously evolving, our understanding of emotional intelligence and its transformative potential for individuals and organizations has also evolved. Emotional intelligence, or EQ for short, includes 5 general categories. The first is self-awareness, which refers to how accurately one perceives their strengths and opportunities for personal growth. Second is self-regulation, which relates to how well one manages their thoughts and emotions in response to people or situations. Third is empathy, which involves genuinely listening to others to understand their perspectives and respond in appropriate, affirming ways. Social skills are the fourth element of EQ. They refer to how well we build and maintain meaningful relationships with other people. Finally, we have motivation, which relates to setting and achieving goals and empowering others to do the same. On an individual level, the 5 qualities of EQ are essential ingredients for success in life, particularly for leaders of diverse teams. On an organizational level, emotionally intelligent leaders genuinely connect with all stakeholders and drive impactful change in collaboration with others. Sometimes these changes can be daunting, but as we all know from living in the Pacific Northwest, these storms enable our forests, our communities, and ourselves to grow and thrive for many years to come.
PCC is an interdependent system. The success of our system as a whole is reliant on each part of our network remaining healthy. As our group thought about the importance of emotional intelligence at PCC, we started thinking about ourselves like this tree. At PCC, our roots are our mission, and our administrators and other leaders are the trunk, connecting this mission to the branches and leaves. We can think of our branches as those who are continuing to work most directly with our students, such as our faculty and our staff from so many areas that branch out to our students constantly. Finally, the leaves are our students. Healthy leaves are a result of a thriving system of support. The leaves won't remain healthy if they're attached to a decaying branch. And a branch can't serve its purpose if it is connected to a trunk that is struggling to keep everything rooted in the ground. EQ is important at all times, but especially during times of challenge and uncertainty, much like the health of a tree, making it possible to withstand a storm. Building trusting relationships, practicing empathy, showing up for others, these are all things that we at PCC are constantly asked to do in the name of our mission for student success. If we think about PCC like this tree, though, we can understand that the health of our leaves, or the success of our students, is made possible only through the trust, health, and support of each of our interconnected parts.
In a meeting recently with colleagues, I asked everyone, what is your main theme or purpose of your position? Their answers were inspirational, and we realized we all have the same why. We all want to help students. However, in the next year, how we do our jobs, where we do our jobs, and who we will be working with are all going to change. In the past, I would have approached these changes from an individual perspective. How can I contribute to this team? What are my ideas? And how can I articulate them in order to influence others to embrace my ideas? But with LEAD, I've had a paradigm shift and realized success occurs when you first focus on the people and the process, not the outcomes. Going forward, I will use what I have learned about emotional intelligence to try and bring everyone's voices to the table. I will try to be a host for diverse ideas and perspectives. I know I am not alone in this sea of change at PCC. I also know that if we all focus on growing our emotional intelligence, our trees will bear a lot more fruit and we will produce more equitable student outcomes.
The theme of resilience is brought to you and narrated by Renee DeMalley, Amy Evans, Crystal Frombling, and Lisa Regan Veenup. Psychologists define resilience as the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, or significant sources of stress, such as family and relationship problems, serious health problems, or workplace and financial stressors. As much as resilience involves bouncing back from these difficult experiences, it can also involve profound personal growth. Our group aims to leave you with words of wisdom surrounding resilience that we have meditated on during our time in LEAD. To help us understand how resilience intersects with the various aspects of our lives, we can look to the following framework, which shows 8 ways in which we can look at ourselves from a standpoint of resiliency: the ability to maintain optimism, one's attitude towards life, emotional awareness, self-control, your social support network, a sense of humor, self-belief, and an ability to problem solve. Let's take a look at some examples of each aspect of resilience.
Emotional awareness is about being conscious of how you feel and the feelings of others. It helps us address people and problems with greater insight, patience, and problem solving. Emotional intelligence can positively impact success, quality of life, and relationships of individuals. People who understand themselves well and who understand how to relate to and connect with others tend to be happier, more self-confident, more productive, and enjoy healthier relationships throughout their lives. Creating and maintaining good social support also contributes to resilience. Studies indicate social support is essential for maintaining good physical and mental health. These supportive relationships can enhance resilience to stress, help protect against trauma, and contribute to a higher quality of life. As Taiki Matsura said, despite all the talk about resilience being an individual trait, most of us are only as resilient as we are loved.
Self-belief. Believe in yourself. Your experience and voice matters. Give yourself permission to grow from mistakes and know that it only makes you more prepared for the next time you face a challenge. Control of self. Leaders help others navigate stressful situations. Cultivate resilience by having a stress management plan. Reflect on your own thoughts and actions to better understand how you function under stress.
We use problem solving as a tool in every aspect of our lives. During the COVID-19 pandemic, I was in awe of the ability of my neighborhood to support each individual and family and share their abundance with those around them and those in need through the Buy Nothing movement. The Buy Nothing movement is a hyper-local way to bring neighbors together and share food, goods, skills, and time. It really takes a village to build resiliency. In times of change, our attitude towards life can take a plunge. It can be helpful to ask ourselves, when we look back on this moment 5 years from now, what will we have learned? Taking time to assess what has worked and what hasn't is a crucial aspect of the growth process and a way to build resiliency as we move into the future. What are we doing in our departments, our programs, and at PCC as a whole, not just to get back to normal, but to move forward using the skills we've gained this last year?
We get to choose our responses in any situation. Optimism is viewing the glass as half full. It's acknowledging that clouds can have silver linings. When we view challenges through the lens of optimism, we understand that things which test us can make us stronger. As tough as things may be, in the present moment, change will always be around the corner. Humor is also an essential piece of resilience. Maya Angelou once said, "Laugh as much as possible, always laugh. It's the sweetest thing one can do for oneself and one's fellow human beings." Research shows us that humor is linked with wisdom. A wise person knows how to use humor or when to laugh at oneself. Positive humor can be used to make others feel good, to connect with them, and to help buffer stress.
Our team would like to thank you and encourage you to take a look at some resiliency resources we've collected that will be available to all after this presentation.
Hi, my name is Mike, and my topic on practical leadership is why communicating the main thing is so important for leaders today. This component of practical leadership is making sure that our employee teams understand the vision, the goals, and the purpose of the organization. In the Monday Morning Leadership book, this is what David Cottrell described as the main thing. Here at PCC, one of the leadership competencies is titled Drives Vision and Purpose. As leaders at PCC, we must unify and inspire this vision and purpose by consistently reminding what the main thing is to all of our teams. Here are some tips to help us drive vision and purpose. Ask what the main thing is. Make sure your team is on the same page. Explain the why decisions are made, why now. Be very clear and consistent. All leaders need to be on the same page. Be transparent. Eliminate confusion. Repeat clear and consistent messaging. Ask again what the main thing is. Focus on reaching a shared vision and purpose among all employees. Now here's my teammate Wendy to talk more about practical leadership.
Trust in me.
Building trust and maintaining relationships continues to show its importance throughout my experience in various roles here at PCC. In order to reach shared goals, develop, collaborate, be creative and innovate, work on strategic planning, there first needs to be a foundation of trust and psychological safety. Every session with Lead brought out some deeper thinking and reflection on past experiences of what has worked well and what has not. Building trust jumped out at me and made me realize what was missing in one of the most unpleasant experiences here at the college and what was strong in some of the best experiences with leadership here as well. In adult learning, we need to be able to apply concepts into our own work, life, or environment, and Lead has given us a space and application to do just this. Here are some takeaway items for your toolbox. Build interpersonal trust, provide regular and predictable communication, support, be consistent, model behavior, be transparent, and involve others.
You trusted me.
Great leaders think and lead from the inside out. They look inside at their core values, their deeply held beliefs, driving forces, and highest priorities. These values define people as individuals and as leaders. For me, core values include authenticity, realized capacity for growth, and accountability. These values serve as a guide for leaders to bring forth positive change through the work of other people and help institutions evolve to better serve shared needs. Leaders consider their core values and relate these to their personal reasons for pursuing leadership. Good leaders invest in their employees and inquire about the values that others hold, using tools to help others identify and articulate values and relate these to the shared goals of the team and of the institution. Discussing values together drives engagement as individuals define and create purpose through their work. Especially during times of uncertainty and change, people are well served by leaders who communicate the specifics of ongoing and upcoming change, link these to personal and institutional values, and structure meetings and conduct themselves in all interactions in ways that express and uphold those values.
Hi, I'm Michelle Luff with the practical leadership topic of clear communication. During times of change, leaders must communicate 10 times more, especially as their team members move through stages of change. Communication should be clear, complete, always connect to the main thing, and be inclusive. Transparent communication for understanding leads to commitment. Tips for your toolbox. Communicate in both directions. This means regular and clear information that supports the main thing goes out from leaders to teams, and feedback and ideas have a path to be collected from teams and individuals back to leaders. Ask questions. Practice active listening and listen to understand. Ask more questions. Create opportunities for communication and feedback in multiple and varied synchronous and asynchronous formats. Regularly scheduled newsletters, wiki websites, feedback forums, discussion forums, team meeting visits, and surveys, and incorporate consultations into decision-making.
The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Theme Team includes Javelin Hardy, Nancy Nicholson, Anna Rao, and Jane Zunkel. We are sharing words of wisdom about diversity, equity, and inclusion from 2021 lead participants and how they intersect with Portland Community College today. In our time of reorganization, the new leadership competency advances racial and social justice is our imperative moving forward.
Shirley Davis describes 4 phases of diversity responsiveness in an institution in her inclusive leadership presentation. Our survey respondents indicated that PCC was in the 3rd phase. Diversity is the institutional imperative, inclusion focused, and bias conscious. The CEOs in Great Leaders Who Make the Mix work describe an inclusive culture as one in which employees can contribute to the success of the company as their authentic selves, while the organization respects and leverages their talents and gives them a sense of connectedness. Survey respondents rated PCC's level of inclusiveness as fairly low or average.
One of PCC's leadership competencies advances racial and social justice, identifies systematic racism and social oppression, and actively works towards their elimination, implements culturally responsive practices and processes to achieve equitable student outcomes. With our survey, we asked the Lead Academy cohort what are 2 actions that PCC leaders could take to advance racial and social justice at the college. The results came back. These were more training, more in-depth and ongoing work groups, changing our policies, improving our hiring procedures, and vocalizing it. Following up with our last slide, we asked the lead cohort, what could they individually do to advance racial and social justice at the college? Some of the themes that emerged stated word statements, detailed suggestions including identifying and developing and offering more CEU and DEI classes, more trainings, programming, and embed culturally responsive teaching into our onboarding, including questions in classes and evaluations and assessments, and coming back to this on a regular basis.
These are powerful statements and thoughts collected from the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Group to share for LEAD 2021. It is not our differences that divide us, it's our inability to recognize, accept, and celebrate those differences. Audrey Lloyd. People don't leave bad jobs, they leave bad bosses and toxic cultures. Dr. Shirley Davis. A forceful enemy to your potential is your comfort zone. David Cottrell. In honor of George Floyd, we have a lot of work to do, all of us.